Well, a little bit about myself. I was born in Hong Kong, 91. Studied here, started working, and I'm actually with Manulife. I do financial advice for the non-Chinese market. 但係廣東話而家好啲啦，都可以溝通嘅，6成7成， and getting better. And then on the other end, I'm still doing my passion. I love music, getting serious with it. You know how it is. I have to advertise my projects, and also the more popular you get, then the more people want to work with you. And I think in the end, it's just tapping into the unseen potential. If I don't keep pursuing where I'm really great at, then I'm not sure what doors will open in the future. So that's the music side. There's many factors with music. So my parents were musicians, right? And I grew up with music around me, and I've seen it transform from the way it was to how it is today. When you do get signed to a label, you really need to check the contract on what you're signing up for, and they usually give you a big advance. But there are artists, I won't say names because there's too many that I've reviewed. For example, one artist I know that's popular that earned 7 million USD with their sales, and they only earned 15,000 USD because they didn't really know what they signed up for. And the royalties and the ownership of the masters long run, it's not theirs, right? So music back then is very different from today, and you can be independent. But what I wanted to learn is how the global economic system works, because back then when I was doing music, 講真啦, just saying my experience since 2004 when I started recording songs, I didn't really care much about the business side because I didn't know, but I was learning in the process. I've been doing music for 17 years, 10 plus 7, that's a long time, right? But I haven't done it 100% professionally, and I missed out on so many things. But the pain there and experience at the same time is I've probably done 300 to 400 songs, that range, in terms of rapping on songs and putting it out, right? But I didn't do it professionally. And then after getting into the financial industry, I learned more about money, learned more about how the economic system works, where you should invest your time in. And for example, there are good examples like Jay-Z. Jay-Z says he's not a rapper, he's a businessman, right? And there are successful artists that moved into the business end like 𝗬𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗃. So there are many artists that were once famous that are now broke just because they didn't know how to use money. Because many artists, especially rappers, think when they get into this industry, as long as they rap about money, they rap about women, they rap about the trend, they're actually living that lifestyle and will have a lot of money. But like what T-Pain said, even T-Pain said this, one thing they don't tell you is when you're famous, maybe you're getting a lot of checks, because in another market like US, there's a lot of tours, right? But when the high goes down and it's not you in the billboards for a while or anymore, it's a different story. We don't learn about pensions, we don't learn about investments, we don't really learn much about anything. So I think I'm more interested on the business end of things. Because if you were to invest in me 10 million Hong Kong right now, I know guaranteed I can make myself famous in the next couple of years. So that's why I'm more focused on the business end, because I can create more things that will give me profit returns. And as long as I am a successful businessman ahead of time, running multiple businesses, not only the insurance end, right? Because in my business, I build a team, I get passive income as well. Then I can have the power of money to invest it in my music. Because music is all about image. It's all about the creative direction and the art. And the better your art is, the music, the way you write the lyrics, the topic, the target market, the advertising budget, the advertising campaign, the people you can hire to help you with the whole campaign, you'll be fine. So I don't know if I answered too long, but that's why I didn't want to focus 100% on music. But now I can focus more on music because the mind is sharper. Good question. I haven't studied most of it yet, but it does make sense in a position of a creative artist. For example, they have their own, like the joke, right? They have their own JPEG image, but you can no longer snapshot or just take that image, right? It's their right. So if you do that, you're violating it. You actually can get in trouble for that. So it takes the game to a whole different level. And when it comes to music, what I understand is, for example, you as an artist upcoming, and you have a campaign plan, and let's say it's going successful, and many people are buying this NFT, the value of that NFT goes higher. So yes, when it comes to taking 100% ownership of what you have. But a quick story, I'm not going to say all my information is accurate because there's too much information nowadays, but Michael Jackson purchasing from Paul McCartney in 1985, I think it's ATV Music Publishing, where Michael Jackson owned it, and he bought it for 41 to 42 million USD at the time. And he owns the masters mostly to most of the Beatles songs, and other artists I think included Elvis Presley, right? So whenever this was used, or for example, he collaborates, which actually happened, he collaborated with Nike, right? And they wanted to use one song that was from the catalog itself. They will borrow the masters, right? He gets paid for that. So it's very important to own what you have. And like I mentioned earlier, many artists sign up with labels, and the labels take most of the profits. And especially if they don't study their contract, they won't know what they're getting in return. That's why there's many artists that get famous, but they eventually fall off because they no longer know how to move forward from there. They don't know much about money, right? So if they get paid 2 million USD up front to sign a contract, they don't really know what do they get long term, and they just spend that 2 million. And that's why a lot of them go through bankruptcy. Lots of them get what they own taken away again, like the cars they buy or the properties that they own. So it's an interesting topic, but I'm not the specialist there. But let's say I meet someone who knows how it works on the music end, I would love to figure it out and work with them. Kinetic Outcome, right? So I have Kinetic Outcome, I have for music. Music, you already know. It's, well, to introduce you deeper, mainly for me, for music is figuring out what doors will open in the long run if I keep pursuing this talent, and also respect, self-branding as well. So that's on the music end. Now for Kinetic Outcome, of course, one of the purposes as well is the professional end of self-branding, and another is Kinetic Outcome. The main focus is building value to the audience. For example, if I interview someone who's amazing at dancing and they have been successful with it, it's a success model that they can express and share how they got there and what was the process, how was it like, how long did it take them. They can share through the pros and cons and the struggles to get there where they got to today. And if someone wants to be a professional dancer, then they can watch that video. Then we can move to another topic. It could be someone who started their own restaurant chain. Then they're going to explain their story. So if one wants to pursue this, they already know the ins and outs, right? They have an idea. So the purpose is just providing value to everyone around there. And at the same time, my branding as well, right? And also, at the same time, I get to have fun getting to know people who are interesting and where they are experts at. So I love to network, at the same time meet people. And before I started this channel, I used to meet people a lot and ask them how is life, and it ends up turning into a 2-hour conversation. So if I meet people and interview them at the same time and ask them how is life and how is it like with their professionalism, it's the same thing. The only difference is I've documented that. I can put it out, and the focus is I look good, they look good. Once I put it out, they like the video, they share it to their friends see it. So who's this guy? And they get to know who I am. So 2 channels, right? One is Kinetic Outcome, so just follow in YouTube, then you'll be able to see everything else there. It's the same in Facebook, same in Instagram. And on the artist end, it's a pretty long name, but you'll find everything as long as you type at @SAiNT in Instagram and Facebook, and also YouTube. Actually, just do it in Google itself. You're gonna find me everywhere.